Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a joint talk with Mrs. Alia Al-Kafli, who is the director of Al Quwain Archaeology Center. And this is a talk about our joint team at Al Quwain 2, a Neolithic site. From the period of the last hunter-gatherers onwards, the lagoon of Al Quwain, Northern Emirates, was a hotspot for the development of human communities, a hotspot with a rich and varied ecology where food, seashell scraps, fishes, birds was easily found as wood and leaves, for the possible construction of architecture, dwellings, palisades, and boats in the Neolithic, and the feeding of the herds. Since 2011, a team of the French Archaeological Mission in the United Arab Emirates and the UAQ Archaeology Center discovered more than 100 of shell midden with traces of occupation or passage from the Neolithic to the recent Islamic period. The area is well known. With the presence of Tel Abrak for the Bronze Age and Iron Age, and Ed-Dur for the pre-Islamic period. Two major Neolithic sites were excavated, Akab, with 5 seasons, and Al Quwain II with 5 seasons as well. In Eastern Arabia, the Neolithic is dated from 7,200 to 3,300, 3,100 Cal BC, but its beginning is poorly documented, and its end is also poorly documented in the UAE. In Al Quwain, the excavated sites, the Neolithic excavated sites, are not older than 5,300 Cal BC, at most 5,500 BC. The critical point is the estimation of the reservoir effect, the ocean reservoir effect versus the Arabian Gulf reservoir effects, and the collaborative program of comparison of data is developed with Norbert Mercier from Bordeaux University, Christine Oberlin, and Susan Lindauer, with carbon 14 on shell, the extremely few charcoal we have, we recently found few, and OSL data. But the work is under progress, and I cannot say anything about it right now. UAQ2 was excavated between 2011 and 2014, and in 2017, last year of excavation. The preserved levels are dated from 5,300, 5,500 at most, to 4,000 Cal BC. They are culturally linked to the Middle and Late Neolithic period. The stratigraphy in Al Quwain II is 2 meters 20 with a nice series of well-preserved levels. Here you see the excavated parts of the sites including two long tense trenches, in order to make the link between the Neolithic archaeological site installed, located at the top of 8 meters high Pleistocene dune, and the Sepra, which is a paleolagoon. We are working on the question of the paleolagoon through the paleo-environmental study and core samplings, together with a number of specialists, but I would like to mention first Professor Adrian Parker of Oxford Brookes, who is very well known. The residential part, the settlement part of the site was excavated in sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Sector 5 relates to the resume of the excavation of the graveyard, first excavated by Carl Phillips, and Trevel. And I would like to thank John Martin, who is present today, who was with us is here, who was with us, with the team who was excavating and sieving with us that year. I was very shy to go back to this graveyard. Finally we did, and I will show a few slides about that. At UIQ2, in situ Neolithic levels in this part of the site, you can see them here as well. Those are in situ levels, purely Neolithic, Middle Neolithic and Late Neolithic, and the last occupation level, the last preserved occupation level, dates from the beginning of the 4th millennium BC. But we have pockets here of shells, and those pockets of shells were dated. They are shells, they are Marcia species, bivalves, and they all date from the second part of the 5th millennium BC, and they are related to the collapse and reshuffle of the late Neolithic levels on the site. Now, the oldest level of anthropogenic activity is seen. It's level 17 here. You see a view here of level 17. Very thin, little dense in biofacts, only Marcia species, bivalves, but no artifacts, no objects at all. And this level recovers a thick layer of sand, the pondage, the inclination of which is at that period of time opposite from what it will be in the upper levels. And this is an indication of an environmental change. The wind blowing is in a different direction. Level 70 is covered by a layer of yellow sands, as you see. At UIQ2, the first phase of the dense Middle Neolithic occupation is well documented by 7 levels, in red here. A number of solid data testify a rather dense residential occupation in this part of the site. Here you see there are many post holes, there are concentrations of shells or objects, and there are also firing places. Here Here some post holes. The post holes after excavation. Here the view of the first half of the excavation of a fireplace, and here a concentration of intact Terebralia palustris. For the people who are not specialists of mangrove and lagoon environment, Terebralia palustris is interesting because very indicative of the mangrove. We found a big quantity and variety of artifacts in those 7 levels. And regarding the pottery ware, we have more than about 400 pottery sherds. Most of them are unpainted, but within the few painted sherds, we have a number of elements related to the 2-3 Ubaid pottery from Oates. So it's an ancient Ubaid, which is interesting because it goes rather well with the carbon-14 dates. For among the artifacts, crushing and grinding stones, flint and shell scrapers, a kit of tools used for manufacturing, like flint borers, splintered pieces, stone files, stone net sinkers, like here, bone points, and possible shell containers, because they are on every soil, but not numerous. But there are no traces of use, so maybe they were used as possible containers, but it's not proved, of course. Most of the flint arrowheads belong to the same technomorphological type, consist in stone net sinkers, but from the mid-5th millennium BC also includes shell fishhook, not before the mid-5th millennium BC. This is something we found at Akab Island some years ago, and the discoveries at Quain II reinforce the idea that this key innovation, the technology of the line fishing, dates from the late Neolithic period in Eastern Arabia, in UAE. The line was attached on the fish hook at the level of those small notches you see at the top of the shank. In the last third of the 6th millennium BC, so Middle Neolithic, we have at Quain II a big number of personal ornaments with hundreds of these spondyle disc beads, locally manufactured, as you can see, because we have the several steps of fabrication. And the steps of this chaîne opératoire is attested from the beginning of the occupation at UAQ2. Other types of personal ornaments, as shell buttons and pendants, mother of pearl buttons and pendants, many perforated gastropod shells as Natica and Gina mendicaria, of course, a number of ornaments in stone, like these disc beads, herrings, and these extraordinary, almost spherical, polished carnelian bead here, with the beginning of a perforation here and On the opposite side, also a beginning of perforation. And it recalls, of course, Puey's 18. Food economy, mainly focused at UAQ2 in the 6 millennium BC, on fishing, but more in the UAQ lagoon than in the open waters, referring to the variety of fish species identified by Mark Beach. Some dangerous fish were also caught, as shown by the discovery of 2 types of requiem shark teeth, the tiger shark and the bulk shark. Both of them swim in coastal waters and the brackish waters of the lagoon and can be taken in nets before being harpooned or with lured lines, as for the tuna. A single specimen of shark provides a big amount of meal. Teeth and vertebra can be used as status symbol or valuable. The number of shell, not only Cerebalia palustris, but oysters and the bivalve Marcia, the number of shells at UAQ2 is enormous, but the species not very varied. Venus clams, Marcia, mud scrapers, Cerebalia, murex, and the mangrove oysters, Sacostra culculata. The results of the faunal study suggest that UAQ2 as a mangrove site in the 6th and the 5th millennium BC could be occupied year-round or much of the year. This is also supported by other points. The regular succession of soils and occupation levels with no visible gap is indicative. The last third of the 6th millennium BC was wetter than today. Summer, Tom 1 includes 4 males, young and above, and separated by a thin layer of sand. Tom 2 is an individual tomb with a male, a young man as well. In tomb 1, which is the most ancient tomb we know today at UAQ2, and this tomb corresponds to the first dense occupation level, that is level 15 on the residential part of the site. Those 4 young males were buried all together, aligned, lying on their side, having the forearm on the waist of their neighbor. The death of these 4 guys and their inhumation corresponds to a period of time not longer than 1 week, probably less than a week. And one of them was found with a flint arrowhead and the ribs broken. We have no trace on the bones, on the bone itself, of the flint arrowhead, but most probably after the kine and medical people I discussed with, the shock of the projectile, the arrowhead, was very violent, and it was the cause of the death of this guy. 2 of them were buried with pearls, with small packets of pearls, and this discovery was important because it corroborates the special place of the pearl in the Neolithic, in the UAE, but in Oman as well, to the point the special place to the point that some of the pearls they probably collected themselves accompanied some of the fishermen in the tomb. About 7,500 years ago. During the late Neolithic at Bouays 18, the pearls were placed in the hands of the dead, reflecting a shift of the burial practices. No time here to detail the ideas and arguments already published regarding the correlation between simultaneous inhumation, episodes of violence between local groups, coastal groups probably, in competition for control of food resources, raw materials, and maybe women. Subsistence was the first concern, but control of the reproduction, of the human reproduction as well. Access to a territory where food supplies is continuous or was possibly a challenge, but the production and exchanges of valuable goods is also challenging to maintain profitable relationships between neighboring groups. Thank you for your attention.